today about how I want to work harder to be like my mom. I was thinking about different things that have affected me throughout my life, and I mean there are so many. One thing is that she has such a great memory. She remembers little needs that a variety. She has 6 kids, and she remembers what our needs are. You know, even current needs. Like at one time we had renters in our house, and they used. We left the house all furnished, and there were, anyway, there were some things destroyed. One of the things was the comforter for our bed. Seems like a little thing, but I went home and I was like, well, I can never use this again. We tossed it out, and I was on the phone with my mom one day and I told her about it. Well, my mom didn't forget about that. At one point she was like, we have got to get you a good comforter again. That's just one instance of thinking of the little things. She doesn't forget when there's a need or a desire among any of her children and probably other people that she knows, and she works really hard to fulfill that need. But I wanted to share with you a story that happened when I was really young. I was in elementary school, and I've shared this story with people, a variety of people, but it's such a good example of encouragement and of being somebody who helps everybody reach their own potential. So we lived really close to the elementary school. We lived in Southern California, and I'd walk to school and walk home, and it was a pretty walk. There were a few trees here and there, and one day coming home from school, the wind was blowing, and I looked over and I saw this tree with the leaves that were all glittery and shiny. It looked like jewels were all over, just all over the tree, and I thought, that's so beautiful, I want one of those trees. So I walked over to the tree and I plucked a leaf off, and I ran home and I showed my mom and I said, isn't this the most beautiful leaf you've ever seen? I want a tree just like this. Can I grow it? I want to grow this into a tree. I want to have my very own tree that looks just like this. And my mom didn't say, well, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to actually grow a tree from that leaf. And she didn't say, well, let's go look it up or go to the nursery and talk to a gardener and find out exactly how to do it. I was so excited, and she let that excitement build in me, and she encouraged it. And in fact, she said, sure, why don't you go ahead and plant that leaf? And she got me a spoon, and she got me a cup full of water, and she took me out into the breezeway, and she said, right there's some land right there that's not being used. You go ahead and you plant your leaf right there. So I did. I dug a hole, I planted the leaf, I covered it up, and I poured water on it. And every day when I said my prayers, I would pray over my tree. I wanted that leaf to grow into a beautiful tree, and I would pray for it. And my mom heard those prayers, and she never said, that's not quite appropriate to pray for that, or Heavenly Father has more important things to do. None of that happened. She listened to my prayers, and she was fine with that. And then every morning she'd give me a cup of water so I could go out and I would water my leaf before going to school. Well, time went by, weeks went by, probably months went by. I don't remember how much time. But one day I went out and I was getting ready to water the area where my leaf was planted and go to school, and something was coming up out of the ground. And that something grew and grew and grew and actually turned into a silver dollar tree. Now, as an adult, I asked my mom about that, and I said, Mom, that's miraculous that happened, but how did you know that was going to happen? She said, well, I didn't know it was going to happen, but who am I to say what can and can't happen with miracles and with a child's faith? She not only believed in miracles, but she believed in me and in my exertion of my faith too, and she encouraged that. Anyway, I think that's a great story, a great example of how to be somebody who lifts other people, whether it's our children or our spouses or our friends or even a stranger. Let's don't squelch the excitement and the energy and the hope that other people have. Instead, let's feed that. We don't know what miracles can take place in other people's lives. Who are we to say that something can't happen? We're in no place to do that. Miracles happen all the time, and most of them are so small that they often go unnoticed or overlooked. But as we encourage people, we'll probably be able to be witness to those miracles even more.